Let me say good morning. Good morning to all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening as well, because due to time difference. It's great to be back here. It's Monday, fresh from weekend break. So we are here. Some of you are just waking up, of course. Some of us we go already deep into the day. Some of us are already getting prepared to go to bed. Some of us, in fact, just afternoon. But that's it. Good. That's a good of the Almighty God. Creation is wonderful. It's great to be back this morning. Normally I don't do morning shows, but today I decided to do it because something's left in my mind, and I think it's better for me to get it off my chest and to ask you all to get involved as well, so we can voice out, irrespective of however you want to address it. So long you address it with due courtesy, respect, the chance will be given to you. It doesn't matter how you want to put your point across, whether you want to write something that we all will read on this platform, or you want to call in via the video and express yourself. All I want is a due courtesy, respect, first of all, from yourself, for yourself, for all of us that are on the platform. So I don't actually stop anybody from calling or from writing whatever they want to write. If you write anything that doesn't sound insulting on this platform or all of my platforms, you can stay. We can let you stay with us. But the moment you go out of that track, then we say goodbye to you, and that will be a goodbye for good, especially from my end. And even my post, you will never ever see them again or respond to them. Let me put it that way. So good morning. First of all, let me say good morning to Mr. Weah, George Weah, the President of Liberia. Let me say good morning to some of your good people that are in government, some of our good people that are doing the right thing. Let me say good morning to you. I'm not saying good morning to the wicked ones. I'm not saying good morning to any wicked government official, those that are keeping this nation down. I am not saying good morning to you. Those that are contributing to keeping our hospitals, our healthcare centers, our clinics, we're keeping them down on their knees. I'm not saying good morning to you. Those that are contributing, even our children, when they go to school, they are still sitting on the floor, and they say they are learning their ABCs. I am not saying good morning to you. I am saying shame on you. A big shame on you. A big shame on you. I'm saying good morning, a wonderful morning to those that are doing the right thing for Mama Liberia. I am saying good morning. Good morning to the wonderful Liberians that are out there, that are advocating for a change that will bring development in our country, a change that will transform lives, a change that will see a future being built for our children, for that child that was born this morning in that town, in that village, in the most remotest part of Liberia. We want to see that change. I am saying thank you. Thanks to all of you advocates, wonderful advocates, no matter whatever it is, no matter how people are referring to you, accept it and continue to push for those wicked people in power, for them to change their mind, for them to come back to their senses. Yes, I am asking you not to take the back seat. Continue your advocacy. Whatever way they want to call you, you are in an opposition or so, accept it. Like I am accepting it. I have accepted it. Because yesterday, I reminded them, even today, yesterday or so on social media, that yes, when I joined the bandwagon yesterday, that is the days of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And we all were cursing and checking and balancing her government, her policies, and the way they were doing things. Many of you hail me as a wonderful journalist. Some of you say, yes, I was a very good advocate. Yes, because why? We were on the same bandwagon, right? Yes. When you people were even staging protests from the CDC headquarters to town and other places also. In some instances, I supported it. I said there's a need for it. When a student at the University of Liberia also came up in the street and they were asking questions, why this, why not this, why not that? I supported it. And I remember on one or two occasions, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has to come out and speak to the students. And even in dialogue with them and told them, look, please, go back to the campus. I will come and talk to you. I'm not sending anybody there, but myself will come and talk to you. And she did that. Yes. They referred to me. That time, the champion of advocacy. But today they are in power. They're in power. And the same work I was doing, the same way I was doing the work, I'm still doing it. But today they are calling me names, referring to me. I'm doing yellow journalism work. That I am not an advocate anymore. That's how they are saying. That is what they are saying. That I hate Mr. President. I hate Mr. Weah. I hate his government. That's what they're saying. The same people that we rode the same boat yesterday. The same people that all of us were captain of the ship yesterday. When the UP-led government was in power. They are the people now that are turning against me. But I got words for you, and I still got warning for you. Even for some of you that we interacted, some of you that I invited on my platforms yesterday, for you to voice out, for people to hear your voice, to hear what you're saying, to hear what you stand for, to hear from you. You've gone so mute today. Yesterday, some of you spoke against rape under Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf time. Yes, you came out. You spoke against rape. You spoke against all forms of abuses against women. Yes, you spoke against it. For every little, for everything that was done in a way that you don't feel good that government should operate, you stood against everything. Even support for sports. Some of you came out. This government is not supporting sport. Madam Ellen Johnson is not spending money in sports or whatsoever. Where are we today, up to now? You got your power now. You got what you wanted. And Lucky Dube, one of his songs says, now you got what you wanted. You don't know me anymore. You don't know the country anymore. You don't even know these people anymore. The very people you were campaigning for yesterday. Oh yeah, the moment they hear say rape somewhere, we hear them on the radio. We bring them on our platforms and we give them the voice to talk. We give them the opportunity to voice out on the international wire. And they will voice out and they will speak. You took power now. Some of you got position in government. 1 year. The same old things you were criticizing yesterday are still happening, but we can't hear anything from you. So what sort of human being are you? Why did you get involved in advocacy? Shame on all of you that are keeping this nation down. I don't care whatever Mr. Eugene Fagon says on social media. That whoever is an advocate, he's marking them and he's going to kill them. I don't care. I will continue to speak. Whether I'm on the ground in Liberia, I will speak and I will actually stand against any ills in society. This must stop. This morning, this afternoon, this evening, I'm wonderfully blessed again to have this opportunity so that we can come and talk about issues about Liberia. Feel free to express yourself. Well, if you don't insult me, you don't insult all of the people on the platform, fine, we're going to keep you here. But when you use any insulting words, we delete you and we block you for good. You can put your point across, not in an insulting manner. So this morning, let me say, Mr. Weah, if you fail to listen to us, you will not only be failing yourself, but all that sacrificed for you, and the nation in particular. This could haunt you for many, many years. I just want to remind our president in this manner. President George Weah, he's not president for you alone. He's not. Some of you who feels that President George Weah is only president for you, you've got to find yourself a place to hide. So I'll repeat again, Mr. George Weah, President of Liberia, if you fail to listen to us, the advocates and those that you call opposition, when you fail to listen to us as citizens of Liberia, you will not only be failing yourself. Let me be quite frank with that. You will not only be failing yourself, but all that sacrificed for you, those who sacrificed for you. You know, there are children. I was on the ground in Liberia during the campaign. I went there very early, before even any political party would have their campaign launched. Thankfully, my cousin having a how they call it, a printing shop, and I saw individuals going and buying their own T-shirts and going to print it and putting the pictures of Mr. George Weah there. That's how far they went. Liberian people went. You will be failing yourself, but you will not only be failing yourself, but all the sacrificed for you and the nation in particular. And I am reminding you, Mr. President, that this could haunt you for a very, very long time. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to continue. I will not sit here. I won't just sit here and talk. That's why when I'm doing my talking, I will do it with writing diplomatically. I will write again and call you so that you can have yours as a record. Even if you just take that letter and put it, maybe somebody read it and say, oh, it doesn't work. They just put it in the trash can. That's it. But at least a voice out somehow, diplomatically as well. Mr. President, you have to change. Today this morning there is morning hour to my time. So I'll keep referring to it this morning. I will just remind you of your constitutional responsibility first. I'll remind you, Mr. President, of your constitutional responsibility to us, to the nation. I will remind you what you said to us again when you took office. The first day, the wonderful speech that you delivered to us on your inauguration day. I'll remind you of some of those words that you put in our ears. And then call upon you to do us a due diligence. Some of your ministers, some of your appointed officials of government, by now, this is 1 year, they have shown their juices and they're so sour. Mr. President, you have to let them go. Let them go. Find somewhere else for them to go. They have failed you. They have failed a nation. They failed a government. And Mr. President, just another reminder. You don't run government on the friendly basis. No, you don't run a government on a friendly basis. You don't run the government on a friendly basis. No. If you're my brother, you're not. If you are not qualified, you can't be there. And those questions, similar questions, question came during the debate time, the so-called presidential debates in Liberia, which I attended all of them that were held. Will you appoint someone in a position that they are not even attached to as far as qualification is concerned? Some of them couldn't answer the question. It was so unfortunate that I didn't even see Mr. Weah there anyway. But Mr. Weah, Mr. President George Weah, you're not just a celebrity like your latest, very, very latest recordings in response to critics or opposition, as many of your people put it. You don't need to tell us that you are a celebrity. No, we know you are a celebrity. To re-echo that in our ears, especially as a president, that's another signal. You don't need to tell us. Those are supposed to be maybe boasting around that they are celebrities or so. Let them do it. Not you as a president. To come and remind us, so you don't know I'm a celebrity. So let me go back. Let's remind ourselves before we come. I will read the Constitution a little bit and talk about some of the issues that I actually decided to come and talk about. But I just wanted to remind the president ourselves. But let him remind us as well. Let's get back to what he told us then.
It is to you we are responsible to deliver the change you deserve. Indeed, we must deliver the change that our people need in order to transform our lives for the better. I promise to do everything in my power to be the agent of positive change, but I cannot do it alone. First, I call upon the revealed institution that hosts us today and for which the Vice President and I...
All right. The President talking about being the agent of positive change. So, Mr. President, let me remind you. You can't be an agent of positive change when you fail to respect the very laws that give you the power. That is the Constitution. You can't. You can never be an agent of positive change when you're doing things the opposite way. You can't. You can't. You will never be an agent of positive change. We're talking about positive. That key word, positive change. When you do not listen to your people, you can't be an agent of positive change when you yourself when you are doing the things the opposite way. You can't. Now let's go to the other side.
More than a peaceful transition from one democratic administration to another. also a transition from one generation of Liberian leadership to a new generation. It is indeed a confirmation that democracy exists in Liberia, and that it is here to stay. We have arrived at this transition neither by violence nor by force of arms. Not a single life was lost in the process. Blood should never be the price tag for democracy.
Very good one. Blood should never be a resolution process to any form of change in Liberia. I agree with you, Mr. President. Or do you know the latest? Or you just ignoring the latest? Do you know that your minister, the deputy minister for administration, for public affairs at the Ministry of Information, Minister Eugene Nangbe, do you know that he has taken the international wire and threatening the life of Liberians that are advocating, life of Liberians that he referred to as opposition, that he's going to eliminate all of them, even if they are raising chickens. Also, those chickens will never live to tell the story. We agree. Some of us we don't even want to hear anything of that nature. That somebody thinking about war. No. I know what I went through. I know what I saw. I was a young boy growing up in the midst of civil war, 10 years. I know what I saw at Greystone. I wasn't displaced. Because I was living right at the back of Ducal Palace. But Greystone was the place that we used to go and at least buy something from wheresoever we go to Greystone and sell it. I saw it on 2 occasions. When bodies were scattered, when children were scattered, I saw it. And I know the effect of war. Yes, walking from Monrovia to Bomi Hill, I know what I saw when I met just that old lady. She had just given birth and lying down on the roadside. Bleeding, and her child, her baby was already dead by the time we got there. I know what I saw. It stayed in my head. And so when your minister, when Minister Fagon is coming on the international wire and threatening the life of citizens, I think, Mr. President, I think Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Mr. McGill, I think you should take the bull by the horn. Come out quickly and condemn it. Give hope to your Liberian people. Put words in their ears and say, we are not in support of this. We will not sit here and see any citizen, irrespective of whatever position you are holding in government, we are not going to sit here for you to threaten the life of other citizens. That is why our organization, Justice Forum, we decided not to take it lightly. We've written Amnesty International and CC copy a lot of embassies in Liberia. We want to let them know that this is what a city minister said. We do not want to go back to those days. Don't forget, when Minister Eugene Nangbe, when you get me, don't forget, when you touch me, don't forget you're touching my whole family. You're touching my extended family. You're touching my friends. You're touching my loved ones. Probably you're touching the whole country, not alone, not to mention Lofa County in particular. And so you got to stop this. I expected the president to come out. I expected the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs to come out I'm not even talking about Minister of Information, because he's also playing the same old game. Come out and condemn the act. If possible, in fact, request the National Security Agency to invite this man to go and give statement. Or you sit there, you're not talking. But just listen to what you just told us in your speech. Just listen to what you told us in your speech on that day. I want to re-echo this again.
In peace and to advance progress for our country. Almost 50 years ago, Liberians laid down their arms and renewed their hope for a better and more equal society. With the help of regional partners, the United Nations, we chose democracy as our path and elected the first post-war government, which was led by Her Excellency Madam Johnson Sirleaf. Your Excellency, I thank you for laying the foundation upon which we can now stand in peace and to advance progress for our country. But this inaugural ceremony signals more than a peaceful transition from one democratic administration to another. It is also a transition from one generation of Liberian leadership to a new generation. It is indeed a confirmation that democracy exists in Liberia, and that it is here to stay. We have arrived at this transition neither by violence nor by force of arms. Not a single life was lost in the process. Blood should never be the price tag for democracy. Rather,
blood should never be the price tag for democracy. I applaud you for that, Mr. President. But the words, it's great to use them. But putting them into practice is what we want. These people should be condemned. They should be condemned. When it was in 6 months' time, I wrote you personally, Mr. President, as a concerned citizen of Liberia. And I suggested that you should do a reshuffle. That 6 months was not too early to do a reshuffle. Within 6 months, you can know whether this minister, whether this assistant minister, whether this director, if they are performing or not. You will know. And I suggested that Mr. Fagon should be number one. I don't know Fagon, because once upon a time he came, he started telling me, you just hate me personally. How would I hate you personally when I don't even know you? We have never ever met. My first time meeting Fagon was just this gone January, New Year's Eve. Because I went to the Fokke Clone Church. I went there that night. I carried a life. That was the only time I saw him face to face. I'm not against you. When you qualified for the work and you're doing it perfectly, I will be happy. I want every Liberian who is qualified, any Liberian that is qualified to do the job, to be given the job to do. But you can't come and be at the throat of your own citizens, the very people that put you to power. Regardless of voter for Mr. Weah or not, today he is the president of Liberia. He is my president. It's not only your president. I will open the lines. I will open the line soon. I just want to lay the foundation. I'll open the line, buddy. I just want you to get, where I am driving. Let's hear the final one, and then we go to the Constitution.
Almighty God, for the blessing He has bestowed upon our country. And I say, my people, from division to national unity and toward a future of hope and prosperity. I've here taken an oath before you and therefore and before the Almighty God to uphold the Constitution and to pray to preside over this government and this country to the best of my ability.
All right, then we remind the president as well. Ruth, it's part of my work. I'm a journalist. I told you I went there to cover the program, and I carried it live. Maybe that time we were not friends or so, or you were not. But most of my followers that were awake that time, they saw me live. If you check on my platform, the video stayed there. I carried it live. I didn't go there to watch it mainly. I went there so that at least I can broadcast it, so that all those, especially my followers, can also get to know what it was like. Because some people, they didn't believe, in fact, that the church exists. Yes, people will stay arguing on the internet, on Facebook, that the church is a lie, you know, it's the church, the president built church or so. So that night, that morning, many people really, yeah, those who watched it, they say, yeah, okay, it's a reality. So yes, I was there, and I went to carry live. I went in many places that I carry stuff live. But this is it. The president just said, we elected him and gave him the responsibility in line with the Constitution to respect everything that is in the Constitution there. He said, he telling us that yes, he remembered taking an oath just before this speech. So that's it. That's it. So that's the responsibility to you. So let me see, for some of you, what I'm telling you, if you come on this platform, you come with respect, we are respecting you, and respect yourself, and then respect us, you will stay along here. If not, we tell you goodbye, and you goodbye for good. Whether you're here or not, I get paid for what I do. All right. Let's look at Article 57 of our Constitution. The executive power of the Republic shall be vested in the President, who shall be head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Liberia. The President shall be elected by universal adult suffrage of registered voters in the Republic and shall hold office for a term of 6 years, commencing at noon on the 3rd working Monday in January of the year immediately following the elections. No person shall serve as president for more than 2 terms. Article 51, there should be a vice president who shall assist the president in the discharge of his duty, his functions. The vice president shall be elected on the same political ticket and shall serve the same term as the president. The vice president shall be president of the Senate and preside over its deliberations without the right to vote, except in the case of a tied vote. He shall attend meetings of the cabinet and other governmental meetings and shall perform such functions as the president shall delegate or deem appropriate, provided that no powers specifically vested in the president by the provisions of this Constitution shall be delegated to the vice president. Let's go to the article, let me see. Okay, Article 53. The president and vice president shall, before entering on the execution of the duties of their respective offices, take a solemn oath or affirmation to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the Republic, and faithfully execute the duties of the office. The oath or affirmation shall be administered in joint convention of both houses of the legislature by the Chief Justice, or in his absence, the most senior Associate Justice. Let's go to Article 56. Okay, let me see. Let's go to Article 61. It says the president shall be immune from any suit, actions, or proceedings, judicial or otherwise, and from arrest, detention, or other actions on account of any act done by him while president of Liberia pursuant to any provision of this Constitution or any other laws of the Republic. The president shall not, however, be immune from persecution upon removal from office for the commission of any criminal act done while president. The president and vice president may be removed from office by impeachment for treason, bribery, and other felonies, violation of the misconduct. And so, our Constitution, before you take power, especially those at the executive, they got to take the oath that they will respect it and every laws of the land. Mr. President, we want to remind you that even you reiterated that, and you reminded us that you are going to work within the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Mr. President, you continue to work outside our Constitution. This isn't right. You also reminded us that it's better we continue to democratically champion a change. That you don't want to hear or see anything that has to do with bloodshed. In this regard, you must lead. Don't rule. You must lead. Do not rule. You got to start with your associates. In your case, we know constitutionally it's still difficult for us to do anything except democratically, where we can go and politically demonstrate our political franchise, a means of voting. But those that you appointed, you have a distinct power over them. You can appoint and dismiss. You can appoint and reassign them. There are ministers in your government that are causing you embarrassment hugely, and are causing this government embarrassment, and are also embarrassing we the citizens of Liberia. Please take please take a decision. Commander-in-Chief, you are the head of state. You are not a celebrity. Let me counter react on that one, because that's the latest you said. that you are a celebrity. Please, you are not a celebrity. You are not. You are the president, head of state, commander-in-chief of the Republic of Liberia. You come first. When President Donald Trump, when Prime Minister Theresa May wants to speak to anybody in Liberia, when they want to visit Liberia, they are not going to visit the information minister. No, they are not going to visit the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. No, they are not going to visit any other minister. But when they are leaving their country to go and visit, they are going to visit another head of state. They are not going to visit a celebrity. They are not going to visit any musician, particularly in that country. No. They are not going to visit any movie actors in the country. No. They are not going to visit any journalist, particularly in that country. No. These people are all celebrities. But you are not. You are the head of state. You are the president. You are the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Republic of Liberia. So let's get that one side as well. Because that's the latest one. Even this morning I heard on the radio. I had a video yesterday. Somebody threw the video at me yesterday. Your social responsibility is to us, to the nation. You can call now if you want to call, and let's hear from you as well. Let me see. Let me go on the dashboard. I think somebody's already on the line and see who is there. Noawa. Let's see whether we can get Noawa. Okay, we're not going to be. The call is going. It's telling me adding now, so we'll soon get you so you can speak to us. When I get about 24 minutes, we'll be taking. We're not going to be here for long today. 1 hour, we do this show and we go. We don't want to remind our president and remind some of those ministers, those that we're given responsibility to steer the state of affairs for us. Their responsibility to us. We have to keep reminding them their responsibility. You can't come and threaten the life of individuals. And people sitting there, they don't even have time. I understand. Somebody told me this morning that somebody posted something about the vice president. And already the National Security Agency have invited this person. So what is the difference between that individual, that Liberian, and the minister and this assistant minister? Or what is the difference with what happened in constituency number 13 the last time, last November? What happened? Is that different as well? When the city mayor was involved in that fracas and he was never ever invited. Let me go to my brother Noah. How are you, buddy? Welcome.
Thank you very much, Max. How is everything?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Welcome to the show. Just trying to. I know you've been following. What is your take?
Yeah, Max, we need to go back a bit. I'm really not happy, but I am not surprised because from my little background, I knew that we are going to get to this level. But why I want us to go a bit back is the fact that, let's be frank, for the first group of Liberians who got the necessary education, including we, their children, who have lived wherever we have lived with the right education, we failed the nation. That's why we are going, that's why we are doomed. My brother, you walk around Monrovia and tell me that that city you call Monrovia has produced sons and daughters who are some of the most respected people in the world. What can they tell? They will only explain to you how they went to Wisconsin University. There is nothing back home that they can show to you to really make us proud as a country. And if the educated people and those of us who were enlightened failed the people, remember that this elections, 2017 election, was an angered election. People voted out of anger. If you listen around what people are saying, people are telling you, Max, this is where we need to be a bit very careful. People are telling you that yes, he is still better than them. You know what it means? That even in the mess that we find ourselves, they are still better than us. I mean, better than those who have ruled the country. That tells you and myself that we need to start planning. You know, up to now, there is no backup plan. Tell me a new group of Liberians who can take Liberia to the next destiny. It's not there. Yeah. See around, check around you. You have group of politicians who call themselves politicians. Today they are UP, tomorrow they are CDC, next tomorrow they are MPP. There is no integrity in them. The same way they behave in their homes is the same way they behave in public, is the same way they behave in their offices. And we see these things around us. Tell me, how can a country like ours be? You know, you and myself, when you go out there, what can you boast of? When people are discussing about their countries, how they are moving from this step to this step, what contribution do you make? I normally keep quiet. I've never contributed. If I want to talk about other things, I will talk about other things. But I have never contributed when other intellectuals are discussing about issues pertaining to their countries. Yeah. What are you going to show? Is it the dirty water when you are going to when you are passing through the back road through our barracks? That's the national barracks that is right in the middle of the city. Look at the back of it, how dirty it is. You know, recently, I think 3 months ago, I went to red light. I actually spent like 1 year, I never went to red light because I've never gone that way. Normally, when we are going like Banga way, you take the Dupo Rosa. Yeah. So I never went to red light. My brother, I went to red light for the 1 year that our brothers have been in power. I almost cried, my brother. If you could see red light, it does not resemble a place that humans can live. Not alone you tell me that that is a business district. And do you know that red light supposed to be our international market? Yeah. Red light is our international market. See red light. What is in red light that you can be proud of? There is nothing, absolutely nothing. You go to Waterside, the scent alone will take you out of the place. If you are passing, I mean, just tell me, what can we boast of as a nation? And then we want to blame these people. We should not blame these people. We have earned this. The trouble that we are in now, all those, I mean, how you call it, threatening remarks that you hear people saying that they will do this, they will kill opposition. We earned it. I tell people we earned this trouble because we all contributed to it. People get education, but you cannot see it in them. See the number of homes that we have in Liberia. You know, I think you have friends who will boast in front of you, right? I will tell you, that out of there, I pregnant her, and she start acting fisky, so I leave her with the child. Your own child, you boasting in front of your friends that you abandoned the woman with all the children. So we have to take a step back. We have to start asking ourselves, how are we preparing to clean the mess after everything? It doesn't matter how many years these people take into power. I can tell you, this is 2019. There is no space for dictators. And none of them will remain in power forever. But if we do not prepare that, yes, we have reached at a mark where Liberians start to prepare that after this, let there be no more of this kind of mistakes, and we need to prepare. Another thing I want to tell you before I close, my brother, you know that the 2017 election was marked by fraud, and we learned that they have to clean the voter registration, right? Are we sure that this voter registration, when they said they cleaned it, those names that they took from the voter registration for whatever cleaning, where are those names? Tell me a single journalist that have raised questions on these issues. Where are those names? The present voter registration we have, if you use that one for a referendum in Liberia, CDC will win. If you use that voter registration for any election in Liberia, CDC will win. Because they told us that there were triple names, right? So if you have triple names, all those triple names are possibly people who are of that class, of the CDC class. So now with the disgruntled having among the pure Liberians who do not want to even go and vote, if you launch a referendum or a campaign of any sort, you will be sitting down home because you don't want to any vote, you don't want you don't want to be part of it. And these guys will go and vote. And so don't be surprised when you hear that CDC is scoring marks when it comes to their referendums and their elections, because nobody is asking questions. Nobody. The last time I tried to write a letter to one of the newspapers, and I was telling them that if I want to blame people in Liberia why we are at this level, first of all, I will start with our bar association, the Liberia Bar Association. Do you know why? I will put a square on them. These are the most educated librarians we have in Liberia, our lawyers. Yeah. Most of them must have gotten their second degree in the United States of America. Yeah. They are the ones who are drafting all the contracts in that country. They are the ones who are advising the president, the ministers, and everybody. And they know that the advice they are giving is wrong. Imagine you have some of the best lawyers in the country. In other countries that I have been to, the best lawyers are actually poor people lawyers. In Liberia, the best lawyers are people who are pleading for companies, who are drafting leases for Lebanese people, and who are working for foreign people. So at the end of the day, where are we? Our own lawyers are the ones not prepared to make Liberia better. I tell you, if the lawyers are ready today, there will be no mess in Liberia. It will end. If the Bar Association tells you and myself that this has to end, it will end. You know where they will start? They will start asking the president that before you select a legal advisor, that person needs to be evaluated by us. Yeah. So at the end of the day, the legal advisor will not be advising based on his feeling, but it will be based on the law practice. You get me? So we have to take it step by step. I don't know when you will have time, but let's take it step by step. Are Liberians prepared after this reign? Are we prepared? If we cannot answer these questions, there is no need, because I don't see us going anywhere.
You're right.
So thank you, my brother. I just wanted us to just take a step back and ask ourselves questions that we need to start answering.
Fair enough, sir. Thank you so much. We appreciate your contribution.
Thank you too.
Oh, Doddy, what shall we do?
What shall we do?
All right, my lines are still open. You can call. We got less than let me see, 12 minutes to go. You can call and let's hear your voice as well. Let me go on the dashboard before we take before any call can come in. Let me go on the dashboard and read some of your comments there this morning. But we just want to remind our president as well. You have a social responsibility to this nation, and that is to protect us, all of us. Mr. Eugene Fagon is in the president of Liberia. And perhaps if he was the president of Liberia and what he said was brought to the attention of the Liberian people, that would have brought him down. Because God, we could get in the street and ask him to come down. Come for a president to make such utterances. You are not a leader. We don't want a ruler in Liberia. We want a leader. So when you see the things happening or taking the wrong turns, you got to take a decision. I don't want to go to president, but we know definitely that some of them, they are not even an astute member of the CDC. They're riding on charo, what we call it in Liberia. And so they want to show and they want to be up there every day so that you can say, yes, this is the person that loves me. But we will tell you, Mr. President, that is not love. They are creating an avenue that your children, we're talking about the citizens of Liberia, your children can be at loggerhead with each other. That is the scenario they are creating right now. If this man was a serving minister right in the country that I am right now in the UK, long time he's out of that position. Especially for this kind of words, communication between him and another person, where he is encouraging elimination of other citizens. It's not a small case, isn't it? It is not a small case. But now his computers and everything, he's arrested also. Just a couple of days, just last week, this lady was elected here as member of parliament. Just recent election, just 4 months on the job. She was driving. She herself was driving. And here you don't play with speed limit. When they say 30, you got to keep that 30. You go above it, if the camera is there, you grab you, you finish. A police car behind you and you didn't take any notice or so, or ahead of you, and you're speeding, you go above the 30, you're done. You go to court. And she was driving this time around in a 30-mile zone. She went up to 41. The CCTV camera finished catching her. The speed camera. Now, normally what the agency will do, they will write you a letter. They write you a letter and then they send you a form to fill out. In that form, you got to declare everything, whether it is you yourself or driving. Whether it is you yourself that was driving or somebody was driving the car. They have to establish as to who the car, is registered into their name or so. And every bit and piece of information they wanted, they just want to establish the fact. In that form that she filled out, she said that it was her cousin that was driving. Her cousin. And the matter was referred to court. Police referred the matter to court. She went to court, and after the CCTV investigation and everything, they found out it was she herself that was driving, not her cousin, a sitting lawmaker. She lied. And you know what happened? She was being sentenced to 4 months. So right now, her own constituents are calling and say, no, she can't be in jail and represent us. No, we want somebody else. So that debate right now is in here. It's going on here in the UK. They're refusing. They say, no, she can't be in jail and represent us. In fact, she lied. She's a liar already. Even when she come out of prison after the 4 months and she gone back in the House of Parliament, how is she going to represent us adequately? She's a liar. So you see, in civilized nation, this is what is done. So Minister Eugene Fagon and the rest of them that have been causing you an embarrassment as head of state of Liberia, you don't have to continue giving them second chance or so. If you can suspend them for a couple of months without pay, do it. That can also teach somebody a lesson. Why would you punish your child when they do something wrong? You want them to change, right? Yes. Some of us, when they do it, if we're supposed to go to cinema every weekend or so, when we go in, when you do it, you do the wrong thing and we want to really punish you. We go into cinema, you'll stay at home. And we just remind you that we're doing this because of what you did yesterday. Daddy, I'm sorry. Daddy, I'm sorry. I will accept the sorry, but you have to get some punishment. So that next time you won't do it. So that next time your brothers or your sister will not do the same old thing. So, Mr. President, you have the gavel of authority in your hands. The discussions between Mr. Eugene Fagon and this William man and another one in Ghana, they are not helpful for your administration. The one in Ghana, my understanding is in fact the CDC chairman of Ghana. He also said a similar thing, that the president should put opposition on light poles and put them on firing square. Even that we brought it to the attention of Amnesty International. But Mr. President, you have to take the lead. We're doing our bit and pieces. You have to also take the lead. Come and speak out. Take some kind of a disaster, just take some kind of action. Some of the people will change. They are your children. Those people you appointed are your children. You know what sort of embarrassment the Central Bank of Liberia governor caused you right now? You don't even know. Or maybe you are pretending. Or by virtue of him going, publishing the report, 2018 report, publishing it on the website, and later on he went and took it down. After realizing that there's huge blunder in that report, failing to know that by the time it went up, some of us were, some people have already gone and got copies of it also. Today, the report is a mess. And we're still asking the questions as to why. Why did you take the report down from the website? There's no answer yet. Even this morning on radio stations, they were discussing it. When the people are showing you that they are not worth being there, you got to take the action, or else the ship is rocking. It is rocking, Mr. President. We don't want anybody that will bring confusion in the land anymore. Some of them, they were never on that ground. I don't even know if Eugene Fagon ever saw the Civil War or witnessed it besides looking at it on television or so while he was in America. But for some of us that spent the time there, some of us that saw people being rushed, no hands. Some of us that saw body peace flying. We know what is it. We don't want it. So we ask you, Mr. President, come out and condemn your minister. The threat against the citizen of Liberia is also a threat against you. He issued that threat. We are your children. No matter what, we are advocates, we are oppositions. It doesn't matter. We are your children. When somebody issues a threat against us, it is a threat against you, Mr. President. We want you to take an action, an immediate action. First of all, condemn the act publicly. We want to hear from you. And then from there, you take an action. If Mr. Eugene Fagon is to be sat down at least for a couple of months without pay, you got to do that. It's not an international community. We just complain to Amnesty International. We just CC copied the American ambassador, the British ambassador, the French ambassador. They can only have those things as records. They keep it. For tomorrow, they can be witness. But they can't take action. They can't go and punish, how do you call it? They can't punish Eugene Fagon for threatening Liberians' life anyway. They can't do it. They can only keep, perhaps they can also write you and tell you as a government that try and talk to your people. The same old thing I'm doing here. Let me see what let me take a few of your comments and just go. It's already 2 minutes to the hour, and on the hour I have to leave from here. All right, quickly. I'm going by the. I want to read those that are actually attached to what we're discussing. How? Okay, Mr. Puka Roberts is asking. I have a question, Max Kpakio. How can we make our contributions from Liberia to the USA? I don't know what sort of contribution you're talking about. If you can inbox me and let's expand a little bit. What contribution you're talking about? Read whatever comments you have relative to what we're talking about. All right, Lisa Fowley says here, everything we are saying, your complaint is we are an angel. I think she was asking a question. Christine Yanti Marco Clotti replies her and says, he's not an angel, but he must listen to the cry of the majority. Thank you for the response. Maybe I was going to respond maybe differently. Amma Freeman, it is so sad the president doesn't even know what a true celebrity is. So back when he was playing soccer, he was a celebrity. Today he is a president, a leader, and do his job in that position. Emsa Noah, who just called, we earned this trouble, but let it be known that in 2019, the dictatorship never survives. Emsa Noah, let them get ready to kill every Liberian, but I am sure that they will all account for their actions and inaction. Thank you. James D. Newman say, I share the way you feel this morning, Brother Max. Thank you. I also share with you as well. Ruth Roberts Bengba says here, it will surely haunt him. Okay, let me go down a little bit, whether there's anything there. Augustine Mustafa Alpha says here, it was really bad for Honorable Eugene Fagon to make utterances of this nature to the media, trying to insinuate hostility in our beloved country, Liberia. It was really, really, really bad. It is. Lusu Fatu Yaman says here, Mr. President will not take any action. We demand him to take action. Amos George say, President Weah will not take any action because he sanctions these things. Amos George is back. President Weah will not take any action because he sanctions these things. All right. All right. Thank you so much this morning from my end. Whatever time it is to you, thank you for joining the show. But in this case, this is the question I'm asking this morning.
Oh, Daddy, what shall we do?
What shall we do?
Oh, Daddy, what shall we do? Oh, Daddy, what shall we do? Oh, Daddy, what shall we do? What shall we do? Sinzijan. Oh, Dodi. What shall we do? Sinzijan.
What shall we do?
Very, very cheap. And you use your bitch like